May the force be with you is a phrase used to wish a person well to overcome a challenge. The invitation in this podcast, May the life force be with you, is to explore what it means to truly feel alive, to appreciate the physical, emotional and spiritual connection to our energy, and finally to understand how this impacts who you are and all that you do. May this conversation inspire you to thrive. Hello and welcome to May the Life Force be with you. And I think it feels like we might be looking for some life force ourselves this gentle summer morning. Hi, Kahreela.
Hi, how are you, Fiona?
I'm okay. The sun is shining, which is always good for me. I've just been for a little run. But yeah, it's been quite a big week, I feel. How are you?
Yeah, I would describe it as being in the eye of the storm right now. Fiona took one look at me and was like, do you want to do this another day?
I can just tell your energy it's subdued, it's low. And when I said, do you just want to call time on this, what did you say?
We show up in all states, or may the life force be with you.
And all states, meaning that sometimes we're just lower vibrationally, energy than we are on other days. And it's okay. Kind of leaning into that, acknowledging it, taking a big deep breath like you just did can feel really good. And it's, sometimes we do need to retreat, but other times we do just need that little bit of oomph to get us across the little bump that it feels like, or in your case, storm.
Eye of storm.
Eye of storm.
I feel like, how can I put it?
You always find the words.
I don't know if I can find the words for this one. Like, I was about to talk about showing up in all states on this show and why it's important. And I think it's important because I feel like people often look at people's worlds and paths through the Instagram lens, the Facebook lens, the TikTok lens, and they feel like, oh, that person's just got their stuff together and I don't have my stuff together and I can't walk my path or start my path until I've got my stuff together. And I hear that loads. I hear that from people loads. Whereas actually my experience of your path is like it will regularly put you through the storm and regularly make you not okay.
Aren't we just always walking the path?
Yeah, like your path is you.
We're always walking it. It's always there. It's not like, oh gosh, this is kind of, a different path. It's just all of the beautiful messiness of being a human, right? Yeah. It's all just the messiness of life. And when we are in the eye of the storm, we're kind of like, oh my gosh, I've been battered around. Now I've got a minute to pause, but oh shit, it feels like there's a whole load of other stuff going to come in. And in some regards, that we're kind of micro doing that every day, all day long. And that is our life force energy, and it is the flow of it. And, for anybody that feels like they're in the eye of the storm, then, the wonderful phrase, this too shall pass. And I remember seeing it on a wall in Canada when I was in my absolute lowest. It's like, show me a sign. Oh, okay, there we go. Because it was on this huge billboard outside the art gallery. And I was like, you know what? It's true. It's true.
And it is true. And I feel like as we're talking, like you know, a storm is how nature cleans itself in a way. And I
kind
nearly
of need it
always,
sometimes, don't you?
before I have a big project or a big event coming up, I nearly always have a storm, because you got to get clean before you go and do your next big thing, you know. And so certainly the way that my energetic preparation process works is there's always a big storm before a big project, for sure.
Yes. And my co-founder at Moment, Alex, we were just talking about this last week. I hope you won't mind me sharing, because he's been doing some manifestation work and it's been awesome. Yeah. And we have these great conversations whenever we connect. And I'd kind of said, I'm in a bit of a funk. And he's like, that's because there's usually like an upgrade coming, or there's something else about to drop in. And it's actually that kind of like, I need to take a step back moment, realization, body reaction, is because it's preparing you for the next phase of what's coming. And actually just like accepting, like, I'm just going to rest now. I'm just going to reflect now. I'm just not going to push, because I know that something that I need to reserve my energy for, because it's a bigger leap that's great and exciting, is literally around the corner or at the other side of the eye.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of what my personal storm is about, actually, is I feel like it's funny, it's Gemini new moon, and Gemini is the twins, and the twins are all about like the soul and the infinite and the spiritual and the 3D and the practical. And I feel like the imbalance that's storming up in me at the moment is the struggle that you sometimes have with holding yourself through the energetic and emotional processes, and continuing to make your life, like, and the running of your 3D life. Sometimes it doesn't feel like you have the capacity for both. And so it's interesting, because I'm like in this like like a rage of wounds. And I was
That's
saying,
an interesting turn of phrase, because being in a rage of wounds, you would expect that energy to be sharp, to be edgy, to be acute, to be heightened, but you feel the opposite. Like, you feel very, I don't know what the right word is. I feel a little bit of sadness, to be honest, when I look at you.
I feel,
and a little bit of resignation almost. Like, it's a real kind of lower vibration energy that is not the usual effervescence that is Kahreela.
my life force energy.
So it's interesting when you use the word rage, because rage is a very low energy vibration, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like my wounds are raging. And like I would call this I feel like I have a million deaths, but I feel I would definitely call this a death, because it feels like my life force energy is that low that it feels like something is dying right now. And I have all of these practical business obligations, and my whole system is like, no, before you go to the mountains next week, you just need to hold space for this and not do any of those things and cancel it all. The only thing I wasn't cancelling was may the life force be with you. And it's like,
well, how about that, Kahreela? Have you done that? Have you cancelled have you created the space for yourself in this time? Have you done what you would tell others to do? This is what I have to remind myself.
Yeah, no, I haven't.
Okay.
And so now, like, my pain body is forcing it through. Like I don't feel capable of doing the things that I need to do. And so I'm having to just be like, all right then.
It's really important to reflect though, because you give so much in your work, right? You've got to hold space for everybody else's energy. And I know there's protection and ways that you can almost disassociate from their experience and hold the space to create that environment. But it's a lot of work. It's hard, it's heavy sometimes. And if there's collective energy that you're holding outside of those sessions and those one-to-ones as well, then I get the sense from when you're talking, it can feel like a big weight that you're carrying for other people, as well as your own experience that comes up within the work that you do, particularly your land work. You're kind of having to dual experience sometimes.
Yeah, and it's funny, it feels like whatever's going on in my system is bucking against it and is going, I can't even put it into words, but it's like I can feel there's a part of me that is like bucking against it and going, I don't want like the pre-land work time needs to be different from what my personality self has been creating. And needs to be a different level of preparation and self-care. And it's almost like it's being like this particular storm moment is forcing, like that's what the storm moments do, I think, is they break down the structures that don't serve you, you know?
And the environments, and I hate to bring this up because we've talked about it on previous episodes, but you're having this experience and time back in the UK, which I know was a kind of, it felt like it was going to be a challenge, and there's almost a kind of like, told you this was going to batter me around when I came back. And it's kind of like, here you go, we told you we were going to fuck with you, and now we are.
Absolutely, but I also feel like
but maybe you had to, maybe this is where you had to come to kind of release that in a way as well.
I see that too. I feel like I had to come home and start my grieving process, you know, and and it's interesting because it's like it's always weird when you're in this state, because you kind of know on one level that it's just a process and it's just a storm, and then the part of you that is actually experiencing it doesn't know that, and so is completely in the breakdown and the story and the nervous system and the pain body, and like it's a very, and it feels like I had this thing where yesterday when I was floored with it, I was like, I don't feel like I need to fix this or apply some breath work to it, or I was like, I feel like I need to feel it some way and love it. And like, I was like, just love everything that comes, every feeling, every sensation, every part of the story. Just love it.
Love life energy rather than life forcing energy.
Yeah. And just love it. I was like, just love it.
More gentle. Much more gentle and much more forgiving and soft, which sometimes you need. Force in itself feels like a struggle, doesn't it? You're pushing against something. So
it's going to make me cry probably again. But
I can
like,
sense.
I feel like while I was doing that, I feel like, you know, these parts of me that was like, okay, I'm going to love you. You're overwhelmed, I'm just going to love you. You're angry, I'm just going to love you. It really showed me how, because I was doing that, like it was making it worse for sure. Or not worse, but like bringing it up stronger for sure.
Creating an emotional reaction.
Yeah. But it was also showing me how much that aspect of me was feeling unloved. Do you see what I mean? And so I was feeling unheard and unheld and unsupported and unvalued. And I sometimes think that
you're bringing attention to it, right? You're deeply focusing on something. You're giving it time to talk to you. It sounds crazy, doesn't it? But you're giving it that time, and you are in a space where you could listen, and you sit back and you kind of realize. And meditation is part of this. Mindfulness is part of this. All of those little practices that we do, listen to your gut, what's your heart telling you, all those tiny moments that we have throughout the day that we don't listen to, when we know something's not right, or we just want to lean into how we're actually feeling, we just pass them by on so many levels on a daily basis. But when you truly stop like you have and just go, okay, what's going on? It's really powerful. It really is.
And I feel like
and it's beautiful as well, because our bodies are so intelligent, aren't they?
Yeah. And I feel like
so much intelligence.
Our society just has taught us to push through and to not, like to pull your socks up, stiff upper lip, pull yourself together. And
it's all right for you. I've got it worse.
Yeah.
know?
And actually, all these parts often need is just
love,
the space and time to be able to feel. And to be able to storm, So.
And you know what? Some people, when you're saying about what society says, some people that no one that's listening, because our listeners are amazingly emotionally intelligent and connected, and we love them for that. And I would love to have more conversations where we bring more people on with different points of view. But there's this kind of feeling that, we're not allowed to feel these things. And it's very self-indulgent to kind of take time to look after yourself and to really kind of go, you know what? I just need a little bit of self-help today. And that doesn't mean that you need to reach out to anybody. That doesn't mean you need to do anything in particular. You just need to acknowledge that right now you just need to help yourself. And that might be to remove, to rest, to whatever it might mean to you. And, people see that as being selfish and self-indulgent. I think it's the only way we can truly live our lives and be happy. We have to do that first. It's the most important gift that we can give ourselves. And how on earth can we be in service to other people and love other people if we are ignoring our own signals and our own needs? And this is just what you are cracking open for yourself right now, is that space to listen to what you need and to nourish what comes up and to indulge.
And yeah,
it's an important part.
And yeah, like I feel the wisdom, I feel the force of it is almost inevitable. I can really relate and feel, and I'm experiencing it in myself, the anxiety, the society, brain of, but I have all of these deadlines and I have all of this practical stuff to organize and I have all of these responsibilities and I do not have the time or the capacity.
And the perception of the pressure that you have to show up and be the fabulous Kahreela every single time and every moment. you're not allowed, right? You're not allowed to show up other than with amazingly sparkly energy and ready to embrace everybody, because that is people's perception of you, because you are 99.9% of the time in that, holding that space for people, and are so impactful through your work. And I'm hearing that, that creates a micro society pressure.
I don't know. I think anybody that's ever done a Starlight anything will have seen Kahreela in a mess.
But you say that, but everything is always delivered in a way that has been needed at that time for the people that were there. So you say that, but you don't ever, in my experience, show up with energy that impacts others. You don't show up with an energy that infiltrates the group, the sessions, the work that you're doing. In some regards, by being yourself and bringing your full self into that, there might be elements of what you're tapping into from other people. So it always feels like a collective experience. It never feels like, oh, where did that come from? Get Kahreela out of here. She's fucking with my good vibe. Like, never, because you ride that soft wave, because you're listening, you're appreciating, you're understanding. So even though you might be in a lower state, you find a way to balance that out with the energy of the people that you work with. So, there's a lot of pressure that comes with that. There's a lot of pressure that comes with the type of work that you do, because people come to you, they want to feel better. They want to feel better immediately and for the rest of their life. No pressure. Fix me.
Here's the Gemini. I feel like I'm having a coaching session with you.
I was about to put you into hypnosis. I was thinking about, should we do some hypnosis? No, we don't have time. But
please, let's do it. Help me. We have a guest in the next 10 minutes. Help me. So I do feel like I'm having a coaching session with your amazing coaching abilities, and I do want a flash hypnosis if we have time before.
Okay.
But you know what? The pressure is not, for me anyway, it's this Gemini thing. It's like space holding, the magic. I can do that. What my pressures are like the practical things of like, it's like the admin side of my life. Do you know what I mean? And the like,
yes,
all the things that people need from me. They need blurbs. They need
No.
I delay my own business so much because can't deliver on the really simple things, because I'm too busy having a death and rebirth process on my body. No.
Imagine putting that on your out of office.
Reality is that like my business doesn't function as well as it could because I can't deliver the really simple things that would just mean everybody else can get on with it. Because
okay, we're going to work on this, Kahreela. We're going to work on this. Don't worry.
So
I think you need to put this on your out of office, right? Your out of office needs to say, I cannot get back to you in the next few days because I'm having a life and death rebirth and a karmic breakdown.
Yes. And
that's the best out of office.
Ask the people I work with, this is a regular occurrence. Like, this isn't...
Which means there's acceptance. Like,
I sat down yesterday to do a plan for the next 4 or 5 months to get organized. And I sat down to do the plan and then suddenly got triggered by, had a series of triggers that completely opened up my wound body from all angles, and then was crying in fetal position for about 4 hours. And everything that I needed to do practically got shelved and is now being shelved probably until after I get back from Portugal.
There you go. Because what does that tell you? It wasn't important. It wasn't important that you did that at that moment. Because if it was, it something would have come up and would have changed. But you've been able to push it out, push the timeline. It doesn't matter. We don't have to do everything today. And if you just push that timeline out and it, creates more space for you to show up today, then that's what you need to do. We always think that we have to do everything immediately. We don't. And if it was so important because the house was on fire, you would have done it the first thing when you woke up. But it isn't that important. So release, let go, push the timeline out, create that space. We do not need, as I say, to do everything immediately all the time. Our houses are not on fire. So I want you to just be a little bit kind to yourself today in thinking that you have to run around. Go slow, deliberately go slow today. And mindfully slow with everything that you do. And that, with presence has come up a lot this week for me, both in my day-to-day work, but also in our podcast this week. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's the lesson that we needed to hear. Let's just get a bit more present, slow it all down. Because you know what? Time is just, we can create time. And we create it by slowing down. So when you're under that pressure of I've got to run around and do everything immediately, when you actually stop and pause and get present, you realize there's so much time in the day. So I want you just to take it easy today and tomorrow and the next day. So on that note, unfortunately, we have to go because we're out of time. We
did not create time.
Cannot put out our beautiful guest that's coming up next any longer, but I am sending you so much love, Kahreela. You're a very special person, and I am there for you in the eye of the storm, out of the storm, above the storm, through the storm, and whatever you need. So I'll see you shortly.
Look how amazing coaching is. I feel like this episode could be an advert for how important coaching is. Because it's the permission in the times of storms to get real with what is happening, like to get aligned with what is happening with you. And
exactly.
Sometimes get yourself into the right gear for what like I was not in the right gear for our guest. And this,
I feel like you've come round a little bit now.
Yeah, because of Fiona's coaching magic. And this has got me and I'm still vulnerable, but it's got me.
You are, but your face has changed. Like everybody can't see, but your facial tone has changed. Your eyes have changed. Your smile, you're brighter. Like you literally look different. And this is what happens when, I do what I do. I can visually see people change in front of you. It's so powerful, but it's all you. I'm just here talking blah, blah.
What I feel like just happened is, just for anybody that's listening and is like, what the fuck happened? And then we'll stop because we have a guest. I feel like Fiona is a really good coach, and she is amazingly intuitive and able to read the different layers of what somebody is going through and meet those layers so that they come back into wholeness. And I feel like you just did that, Fiona, through permission and giving the permission to slow down, giving the permission to the emotions, giving the permission. And what permission does, my guides were saying the other weekend actually, is it breaks contracts. And contracts are what cause our contractions. So everything I was just going on about was all the contracts that I had with myself and my own business.
Mm-hmm.
That permission.
I need to do.
And that permission just broke all of those contracts so that I could be more of myself, which brought some life force energy back in, which is what Fiona, and if you go onto our Instagram page, we might even let you see it. So thank you, Fiona. Thank you for being so good at what you do.
Thank you for giving me the permission to do that. And we never know where that's going to go. And if I'd set out going, this is what we're going to do, then it might not have been as authentic. So, yeah, thank you as well. So until the next time, sending you lots and lots of love and healing, and we'll speak soon. Bye.
We hope this conversation has topped up your life force energy. If it has, then please help us spread the life force. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. And may the life force be with all of us.